Little Miss Recap contains adult language and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast with Boss Man. I know all about Boss Man and his childhood trauma, Axel.
Oh, the boss man. I love the boss man.
It's so funny because every time they flash back to that scene where Steven Sr.'s in the car going, she don't even let you take a call. I always hear it in your voice.
I do too. Look, we have something in common. Oh my God. This show and these episodes were, just something special.
There needs to be a season 2.
Oh, there is. I looked it up. There's going to be a season 2. There's going to I haven't seen an official press release.
Right.
The word on the street is, they're filming. We saw cameras, so they're doing a season 2.
All right, good. I have a huge conspiracy theory that I'll get to. But first I want to talk about, I am watching and I'm loving Dark Matter on Apple TV, and I need to know if you're watching it and how you're feeling about it.
Well, I read this book a while. What's the author's name? I think Blake Crouch. Is that his name or
something like that? Yeah,
Couch or Crouch. I read this book because
just call him Blake Crotch.
That fits the McBee Dynasty.
There we go.
A real American cowboy. He did Wayward Pines. Remember that with Matt Dillon back in the day?
Did I see that movie?
No, it was a TV series on Fox.
Oh no. Okay. I was thinking of a movie. No, okay. I didn't see it. Okay.
There may have been something like that around. But anyway, they did 2 seasons. The first season was Matt Dillon. The second season was, I think, Jason Patrick.
Oh.
But it was bonkers. It's like a mystery. Like a guy wakes up. Where is he? Right? The town is weird. What's going on? He slowly has to figure out what's happening. And when he figures out what's happening, it's so crazy and I love things that go over the edge. I read the book.
This took a turn.
This is good.
I'm on episode 8. How many did you see so far? Any?
My wife and I were watching it. She ditched out on episode 3 or 4. I think I'm on 5 or 6. Okay.
8 takes a turn. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think I know.
Turn I didn't expect.
Having read the book, I know what happens towards the end.
Okay. But I will say this. I loved one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time was Sliders. I love
that was great.
The idea of I love the multiple universe stuff.
Yeah.
So this is great for me. I wish we spent a little more time exploring all the different realities, but
I know what you're talking about.
It's really good. And just as a writer, so when you're translating this from the book to the screenplay, I'm like, where are all the signal posts? Like, I'm like freaked out. Like, how are you going to keep track of who's the bad one, who's the good one? And they're doing a good job visually with that, with the scar on his nose.
Yeah.
So but now we're in episode 8 and that scar's healed. And I'm in trouble. It's like when my twin daughters, when the one lost the strawberry, we were like, fuck, what do we do?
Well, I think, you know what? That's some good acting though, too, because I think that you can kind of tell even the way his body is hunched over, more upright or hunched over.
It's more like a menacing.
Yeah. He's the confident character or he's this one or that one. So yeah, I think they did a pretty decent job with that show. Maybe the first couple episodes, they spent a little bit too much time. We as the audience knew what was going on, but the people on the screen didn't. And I think whenever you're writing or doing a TV show, movie, that shouldn't last very long.
It shouldn't last long.
Too long.
You only have, I always used to tell my student writers, like creative writers, like you only have a short runway for that. The writer or the reader is not going to stay patient for long. Like you have a short little on ramp and then you got to deliver. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like it's coming to you, not like you're sitting there going, "Figure it out, dummy!" in the page. Like it's frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean, just to be talking about, like, I really struggle with scientific terms. Whenever things get too sciencey, I'm like, I don't understand. So like all this superposition stuff, like they're saying it in a way that I'm understanding it. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm here.
See, that's my jam. I am a hard sci-fi nut.
That's
I grew up
my husband's jam.
Arthur
100%.
C. Clarke is my favorite of all time. And his books are just like, some of them for a couple pages, it'll just be like a manual, like you're reading like a scientific manual.
No.
That's like the 3-Body Problem. Did you watch that Netflix show?
I watched it. I loved it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I read all those books, and there are literally 30 pages of just like you're in a science class that someone is lecturing you.
Here's how it happens at my house. So we watch 3-Body Problem, and they're at the part where they're starting to explain what the 3-body problem is. They go through it. I hit pause and I say, Timmy, can you tell me what they just said? And he'll like dumb it real down for me. Like, okay, here's what it's like math to me. I understand human dynamics. You want me to break down Shakespeare? I can do it. This stuff, my mind just doesn't work that way.
That's interesting. Yeah,
I can't get it. Very basic science, I'm okay, but I really have to be walked through it.
I like the concepts, but the math I can't do either. I guessed on my a thing that I like to tell my son, who sometimes doesn't do good in classes, is on my SATs, and this is an example of the kind of person I am. I guessed on most of the math questions, and I got one wrong in English. I think at the time, what was it, like 1600? I had a 790 verbal.
Yeah.
And I had a 310 or 350 math.
It was the same way. I was the same way. I think 1400 was maybe I think you're right. I think it's 16. Because I think I ended somewhere in like the 10 to 11 range. And it was the same thing. Like English knocked out of the park. Yep. And then math, like, are you sure you passed second grade? What's happening?
It's fractions. I don't get it. What is that one on top or bottom? What does it mean?
We don't need it to talk about Steve McBee. We don't need it.
That's true. I'm sorry. That's true. Let's get to the McBees.
Here we go. All right. So we're talking McBee Dynasty Season 1, episodes 9 and 10 today, which is the end. And hopefully we'll get a season 2. And when we do, I'm going to be begging you to come back and talk to me about it. Because people are loving having the male perspective.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I've been loving talking about it.
Okay. So episode 9 starts with Calah and Casey heading over to Allie and Jesse's new house. Now they have, did you spot this? They're bringing crumble cookie. Do you guys have a crumble cookie near you?
We might. I try to stay away from too many.
Oh, okay. Okay. So crumble cookie, if you haven't heard of it, people, is they make these huge cookies. They're like this big. And they're the most delicious cookies I've ever had in my life.
Oh, we do have that. We have that out here in Portland.
However, I will go and get like 2 of them. And they'll feed the 4 of us, right? She comes over with a dozen. I'm like, where are all those crumble cookies going? What's happening?
You're drinking all that beer. You need to wake up with some sugar.
So now, I don't know if you caught this, but as somebody who's gone through this process, like my husband has built our house, Allie's trying to really make sure she's saying on camera that they're not living there until they have their occupancy permit, but they're living there 100%.
Yes, I said that to my wife when we were watching it. She's like, we don't have our occupancy permit yet or something. And out there walking in, I was like, what the hell is she talking about? The dogs are there. They're setting up.
And then she's like, oh, Jesse likes to go in this steam room. Oh, I thought you weren't living there. What is he doing? Like, I'm totally, I see you. Yes. So the house is enormous. There's a lot of wedding talk. This house is crazy. They have a shuffleboard. They have a movie theater. They have popcorn and candy. Like, what? This is for 2 people. What is happening?
There's something going on. There's a write-off happening. Man, there's so much business going on. Galyna, help them out.
There's so much shady business happening on the show. Holy shit. And this narcissist, Steve Sr., thinks that nobody's going to look into this. He's going to put it on TV and nobody's going to look into this. Okay.
Well, it's just like all the housewives. They never think.
Exactly. So later, Jesse gets home and Allie tells him that the women are upset that he's not proposing fast enough. And that Calah even said she should give him an ultimatum. And Jesse's like, you tell Calah mind her own beeswax. I'm done.
Oh.
Now we get this weird scene with Cole and Senior, and they're going out to the farm to look at the corn. I don't know, a crop. I don't know what they're looking at, something in the ground. Cole has to decide. Cole has to decide whether or not to replant. And he says, I've been out in the field more than any of my brothers, and I have to decide, like, this is what I want my life to be. And basically, Dad starts saying to him, I was making decisions and running shit when I was 22 years old.
I know, the cult continues. This scene is so cringe. And that look he gets in his eye when his dad is kind of going off on that. He so desperately wants his approval.
So desperately. Mm-hmm.
It's really sad.
And he basically says to Cole, like, you're 23. What the fuck is wrong with you? I was doing this at 22. It's like, times have changed, dude. Let's chill out a little bit here.
When he said that, what the thing is that kind of made me think for a second, because I was like, this kid really is only 23. Like, there is an opportunity, instead of kind of lifting him up, teaching him a little bit more. It's just all this shit of like, you suck, yep. do better. It just that doesn't really work in life. I've noticed.
And then they have this whole thing where they decide that they're so much alike, and they are a lot alike.
They are.
But like, if I were Cole, I would heed that warning and get thee to a therapist. Stat.
Well, at least Steve's mouth is a little bigger. That's what.
Oh my God. Did you see when he's giving the speech later and Cole's behind him with this tiny little mouth?
Oh my God. Yeah, he was puckered. He was all puckered.
He was puckered up. So the McBees are in Kansas City. They're having some food and drinks with new managers. They're bringing them into the Liberty location. And Junior's like, when we bring somebody new on board, we want to get to know them and we want them to know us. And then it's shots. And I'm like, no.
Well, that's the McBees.
Oh, dear God. I mean? What is with this shot shit?
I don't know. It's so much drinking. I can't do it. It gives me a stomach ache.
There's
so many shots.
So much drinking. I will never forget when I worked at the local TV station. I was in my 20s and our manager was in his 40s, and he took a bunch of us out after work, and we were all young girls. And we got loaded at the local bar, like in Scranton. His bar bill was like $3,000 in Scranton.
Whoa.
And he had to call his pregnant wife to come down to the bar and give us all a ride home because we couldn't drive.
God.
Could you imagine this happening? Oh my God.
No. That is an HR violation. I'm gonna call that out.
Big time. I would have lit the car on fire if Timmy called me that he was partying with 20-year-olds.
While you're pregnant?
And I was pregnant and had to go down there and give them all a ride home? No. Not happening.
How was she? Do you remember? Was she upset?
I don't really remember because I was drunk. But I seem to remember like feeling at the time a general sense of we fucked up. Like this is not good. Mm-mm. So the McBees, like I said, they're in Kansas City. Okay, they're partying. So Galyna's telling Steve that he's her person. You're my person. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. Go do your own thing. And then he goes off and he flirts with the waitress right in front of her.
Yeah, this is terrible.
He gets on FaceTime with Kylie right in front of Galyna.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting my ticket. By the way, we learned she's 23.
Yeah. 23. Same age as Cole.
Same age as his kid. Ooh. Okay. So Galyna and Casey thinks Steve's having a midlife crisis. Okay, whatever. Galyna and her daughter go to look at Steve's new city house, which is another one of these like 6,000 square foot homes.
Oh, why is she showing her daughter this? And then the daughter is kind of hit like, do you think you're moving in here? Right. Well, that's the plan. Like, no, Galyna. Right. Go lean.
And the daughter's like, no. Okay, so here's my theory. Let me just throw it out there. It occurred to me the other day, I'm thinking, is this all for show? Do Galyna and the dad have an arrangement where she knows all about this and this has always been their shtick, but now they're just playing it up to be on TV?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but if so, Galyna is a very good actress, and I would
and that's the stumbling block. Well, there's two stumbling blocks. So
him too. He gets frustrated. He gets a look at his face where I don't know. I think they've stumbled upon some real cowboys here. That's what I think. I don't think they have the case. That's always the question to me. This goes back years. Is reality TV real?
Right.
In my opinion, I think that, and having directed people and worked with actors before, it's not easy. You can either act or you can't. But there are people who really can.
Who are natural.
Right. But I also think it is way more difficult to script something than it is to just set up situations. That's what producers do. That's how reality TV is really quote unquote scripted, is they set up situations just like, hey, we're going on a trip, get everybody together. No, that's the producer saying we need to have something happening in this episode. But as far as the content of what happens inside of the scene,
they're not scripting.
It's impossible. How many takes would they have to do to get this stuff, like, and then to keep track of it between different people? Right. I don't think that I think that they have a script that, not so much a script, but an outline as they're shooting, and when they're going for a day, they know what they want from that day. But as far as coming up with everything, I think it's more difficult to do that, and they would get more frustrated with it, and it does become apparent. In this case, I don't think so. I think these people are just fucking nuts.
So you think, okay, but here's my thing. So conversely, right? I feel like Steve McBee Sr. is always so calculating. Like, there's a part of me, but maybe it's the narcissism, but there's a part of me that's like, is he gonna let himself look like such an asshole on TV? But the narcissist in him probably tells him he doesn't look like an asshole on TV.
Yeah.
That he looks like a man's man who could get all these women.
Yep. Yeah, I was just listening to a pod about reality TV yesterday, and so they're saying that, why do people act like such asshole? It was like the dude was answering. It was that guy Zach Peter. I don't know if Peters or something. I don't know if you ever. He talks a lot about Bravo. Yeah. And somebody on the live, she was like, why do people do that? They say, because they don't think they're assholes. They think they're awesome.
I love how you saw me present a theory and then talk myself right out of it. right on camera here. Right on the mic.
It's just too tough to script things. That's what I think. Like, you can push, you could say, hey, in this scene, Galyna, you need to talk about this, or we need. But once you start rolling, you're getting it. It's really in the editing that you can create this.
Like, do you think that do you think they're kind of pushing things down to such a micro level that they might be like, Steve, why don't you call Kylie on your phone? Like, are they doing that? Or you think he just is doing that? Okay.
I think it's a mixture. I think they do what they need to do to get something that day. And each camera person and each separate producer that's with that crew is trying to remember what the executive producer in the meeting they had. We want to get this today. Hey, Steve's got to, they're probably talking, we've got to go to some like big fight at the end, which we get later with Brooke.
Yeah. Okay, let's get there. So Steven Jr. and Senior are chatting, and Senior's like, Galyna wants a relationship, and Junior says, I don't understand what's going on. Like, neither of you are happy. She thinks she can change you. She can't change you, right, Dad? Because you're just a man of, you just are who you are, and you are immutable. Like, you just, you can't move, you can't change, you'll never. And Dad's like, yeah, I just, I'm honest. This is so exhausting.
It's crazy. But I have to say this, though. In this episode, I felt like there was that push from Junior to kind of, because he talks to his dad and he talks to Galyna, and it's kind of like he's trying to kind of get it together. They are pushing this towards a conclusion, which I feel that's why we do have to remember, like we talked about the guy who executive produced and created this show. He's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
You got to create an arc.
Well, he has a gold mine here. Keep pumping these seasons out because I need it. So now we see Senior taking Cole to the bank to borrow money in a way that this would never happen in real life ever.
This is so weird. This was set
you're
up.
giving me your word? Okay, here's $500,000. Like, no.
And even the bank guy was like, he had like his his glasses in his mouth or something. He's like, okay, Steve. He's like, this is so casual. They're like, make it casual.
Yeah, this was a John Dutton thing. Like, no, just give me the money. I'm giving. What's a man if he's not worth his word?
Exactly. I'm good for it.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
I wish I could do that.
I know, me too. I could use a loan. I'll give you my word. So Junior has a heart-to-heart with Galyna now, like you talked about, and she's like, I put on a good face, but at the end of the day, I'm human and I'm so committed to him. And she says, I'm not trying to change him. I'm just having a hard time living with what he is. Well, girl,
I don't.
What does that tell you?
Galyna's off a rocker. This episode, and especially what happens at the, I was already teetering. Like my empathy was waning.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many times can you hit your head against a brick wall, Galyna? Like, this is, wake up.
Yeah,
Galyna.
She's not like a sloppy divorced Amye Archer in her 20s. Like, this is a grown woman. Like, you should know better. So Junior now says, okay, so this is the thing. Okay, they talk about his childhood trauma. Childhood trauma alert. Here we go.
Yep.
Senior's mother went to a fortune teller / palm reader, unsure.
Yeah.
And they told the mother that her third child would be nothing but trouble. And since he was already, a pain in the ass, she was like, get out. And he was like 12 or 13 years old.
This is nuts. And explains a lot, of course, the way
his
he perceives, but also the relationships he seeks out, and what he's doing with Galyna.
Yep.
But also he's like, believed in strange things. Like, what was he talking about? I wanted to know more about it. I'm interested in Steve McBee's mom.
So I was thinking to myself, is this, how they call, like, when a parent abandons you, it's like, especially the mother, it's like the mother wound, like you never fully heal from it. This is different because I think it's different when you are left versus being thrown out. Like, this was a morals judgment on him directly. Like, you're bad, you need to get out. Like a woman rejecting him rather than, I don't want a family anymore, I'm leaving. Like, those are two very different things. And so, like, he sets himself up. They always say, like, when you don't work on trauma, you just repeat the pattern. So he's setting himself up to be rejected by all these women in different ways because he'll never give them what they want. So they're going to reject him. And that's the dopamine hit for him.
Yeah, but it's also, he wants to, like we talked about, he seems to go after pretty strong women.
Yes.
And that's because he wants to be controlled by the woman, but he wants
eventually
to
rejected.
Yes, it's so strange. He wants to play out that pattern, and he likes to do it again and again to, like, kind of relive that and go through and feel that same way again. Yeah. Because that's how he's comfortable, right? That's what makes him feel comfortable. That kind of relationship. It's really, it's very sad.
We need to, like, airlift a therapist into there immediately. Not airlift, airdrop. Like the planes that spray. We need to just drop a bunch of therapists.
Imagine if we take the therapist from Couples Therapy, another awesome show.
Yes.
And she sits down with Galyna and Steve McBee.
Do you remember? I know we were talking about this in the Facebook group, but you've met Mao by this point, right?
Yeah, that's where we finished season 1.
Yes. She's met her share of a complete narcissist. She could work her magic on Steve McBee. Yes, I firmly believe.
If
there's anybody who could solve this, it would be Orna.
And this is also, I think, the origin of McBee, of Elder McBee's feeling that he's somehow like this special entity or something, because his mom didn't. Yeah, he was trouble, but the real reason his mom kicked him out was because, like, a magic person told his mom that he was bad.
It was in the stars.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So it's like unexplainable, this cult-like thing, that is aura that he perpetrates.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Around him. It's very interesting.
Look, my gram was into palm reading astrology. I talk about this a lot. Like, when my grandfather died, she was widowed at 42. So she, like, got real into this. And she used to read my palm all the time. And to my understanding, and this is very basic, palm reading will tell you, like, how many kids you're going to have, how independent you are, stuff. I don't remember her ever being like, your third child is going to be a menace to society. Like, I don't feel like you get that much information from a pop.
It's like, that's just a cut I got yesterday.
Like, I'm thinking mom just went out, had a couple drinks, came home and said, guess what you're a pain in my ass. Yes, I don't know.
I think mom had some mental health issues.
Yes.
And she told him it was an astrologer, and there's probably other things involved.
Probably. We get this weird scene, speaking of things we don't want, with Cole and Casey, who go and talk about how they need to spice up their sex life. You're 23.
That's what I said
all the time, often.
That's what I said. Oh my God, that's the same thing. I paused the TV and I turned to my wife and go, if I fucking needed to spice up my sex life at 23, I don't know if I'd still be alive right now.
I know.
Like, are you kidding me? At 23? No, I no.
You don't need help in this area at 23. Need any help. No.
But then again, they have been together since they were 3.5 years old.
That's true. That's true.
You've been together 20 years.
Now they talk about, so there's this weird conversation about how Kylie, 23-year-old girlfriend of Steven Sr., put Cole on her Instagram. And Casey's like, that was real fucking weird. Like, she's in a picture with you and your dad, but she kind of makes it look like you're her boyfriend in the picture. And Cole's like, well, maybe she's embarrassed to have a 51-year-old guy as her boyfriend. It was weird.
I mean, I'm an old person, so I'm not sure I quite understand the fascination with having to have a picture on Instagram. But it seemed to me more like it was a joke. Like her friends knew she was with the old guy, so she took a picture with the son that was the same age.
Yes.
And I don't think that I don't think she got the joke.
And I think it was just,
I don't think he did either, honestly.
I think Kylie is a woohoo girl. We've talked about this. Woohoo, and I think she's just taking pictures of who she's partying with. Like, I don't think think she's putting much thought into this.
No.
But Casey's not happy about it because Casey is not on Cole's Instagram and she wants to be.
Yeah. Poor Casey. I like Casey.
I like Casey too. So, and believe me, she's the best he's going to do. He needs to lock that down.
Without a doubt, because he got her from the I was going to say the afterbirth of his high school football career. That didn't come out right.
The aftermath.
The aftermath.
The afterglow.
The afterglow.
The afterglow.
Exactly. Yes, which is another thing I said to my wife during the scene. I was like, hey, let's not forget this guy was the hero of this town. He was like the champion high school football quarterback.
And I live in a town like that. Yes. And I'm telling you.
That's huge.
Yes, it's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
So she got him. I mean, she'll be thinking about that when she's 60 years old. She'll be like I'm a high school quarterback.
It's like a little ditty about Jack and Diane.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So Senior and Galyna now go to the lake because he's like, oh, I'm going to try to calm those woman vibes by getting her some sunlight and some water.
And the dog, only one dog is allowed. The other dogs, we're not taking them.
That dog was real cute.
It was.
And he gets her in the sun. Then they get on deck. Now, here's where I thought, okay, this is real. Because she starts saying that she's upset that no one is proud of her. And that it stems from her childhood where her father was never proud of her. And I was like really moved because she looked like she was going to cry.
Yeah, she did. And Steve knew about this too, because in his interviews, he echoed that. Mm-hmm. So they've spoken about this before.
Yeah, I think they're fine. I think they've always, how do I say this? I think this has been a long ongoing saga for
they get off on
10 years.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, somewhat.
I'm not against what you're saying. I think that we know it's murky with the mom, how long Galyna has been around. Mm-hmm. She kind of mentioned kind of being the other woman and part of the family.
And Steven Jr. hugs her and says, I love you.
Yeah.
Like they're close to her.
Now, they did a quick close-up where it looked like he had a tear in his eye when he was talking to Galyna, where he was saying, like, this is hurt you. You're getting hurt, Yeah. And I really think, I don't know, maybe there's a future there with Galyna and Junior.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Real love match. It's going to be you against Galyna. Amy, Galyna.
Oh, I'll get there, but she gets a look in her eye later. I wouldn't go up against her.
When she does that evil laugh, like that chills me.
So now he assures Galyna, like, I'm proud of you. You're amazing, but he doesn't tell her like what she needs to hear. He's just kind of assuaging this insecurity of hers. So the producer says to him, Steve, I know you're in love with Galyna, or I know you love Galyna, but are you in love with her? And he's like, love. What is love? I don't know what it is.
That's a hard thing to say.
Yeah, he can't commit to this.
But he also says to Galyna, if there was one person, it'd be you.
What a mind fuck that is. Okay, so my therapist has this little analogy she uses all the time, and she says, people like, I don't know how to describe the beginning of this, but in other words, like in a toxic relationship, one person usually has like a fish hook into the other person.
Yeah.
And this is him just putting that hook in and making sure that hook stays there. Every time she tries to get free of that hook, and by him saying to her, you would be the one, she's hearing, you just have to stay long enough. You have to stay long enough, and someday he'll realize, and I'll be here, and I'll be the one. That's what she's hearing. It's
and he knows that,
diabolical.
And it's not fair, and it's not right. But it seemed genuine to me, and that does seem so. If that dynamic exists, that's the one I believe exists, right? Where it's just forever that push and pull. Like it's not I don't know that they would ever have an agreement. Like I don't think they're going to be on couple to thruple. I think that they get off on this energy.
Yeah.
They get off on the fighting. We've all known couples like that who think it's cute to fight.
Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. So Galyna gets a call from Greg, and guess what? The deal is no good.
Shocker.
I mean, you just had
shocker.
You just had a wrestler attack you, and you're not giving them $150 million.
I can't believe they're not giving them $100 million. Oh man, they've got car washes.
They have. There's something.
Wait a second. Did anyone give Greg the beef jerky? Did anyone give him the Apex beef jerky? If he had, there's 6 varieties.
Okay, what is that? Are we just doing a commercial in the middle of this, or is it an MLM? Okay,
that's his cup. That's another company. That's what my wife said too. Every time there's like this meat processing plant, it's my baby. It's always Steve Jr.'s baby.
Yeah,
he's the one running the show here.
He's running the show. So they can only do 20 million. And Galyna's like, no, we can't do that. And she decides to not tell Senior. Okay.
So but also she looks past the fact that at least they want to give him 20 million. That's
I would take 20 million.
Nothing.
I would take it.
Yeah, seriously.
So now we end with the most setup scene ever. Brooke is coming over to pick up the keys for the Nashville place.
This is when this is what I mean by, come on, she wasn't even going to come out. She's in an office. They have to go up and go Galyna.
Right. Tessa could have just walked out, handed Brooke the keys, and Brooke could have driven away.
She could have just, there's only one road leading there. She could have just parked on the road and waited for her.
Right.
This was awful.
This is as bad as episode 1 where something was stolen and they go to the person's house and they're like, do you have my thing? And they're like, no. Okay. I trust that guy.
I trust him. You know how I knew?
Word.
If he had said it was in the Red Barn, I knew he was lying.
So Brooke supposedly is going to redecorate the Nashville house. Now, I sent you the link to the Airbnb of the Nashville house.
Yeah.
It's fucking nice.
What is with the Kurt Cobain picture?
Okay. Yeah. I sent this to you. I'll put it in the group, but I was like, please tell me, is this Kurt Cobain? Because now this raises many questions.
It was.
Okay.
That was crazy.
So, Tessa runs upstairs, tells Galyna, oh my God, Brooke's on her way here, and you would hear the doorbell or something. No, she wouldn't even know.
No, she wouldn't know.
So at the end of the episode, Galyna tries to call Steve. He won't answer. She has him in her phone as Steve with a bunch of corn husks. Did you see that?
Did you see that every single number has weird emojis to it. I don't know. What people sometimes when you look at a person's phone or you think about like how their internet or phone life is, it's just like a whole nother world, man.
Well, that's really like Danielle Merrifield on Seeking Sister Wife had Garrick in her phone as like my lord and protector. Okay, whatever. My phone is douchebag. Do not answer. Okay, so episode 10 picks up right in the middle of this conflict. So Galyna gets downstairs and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And they have this fight.
Awful.
And Brooke is basically like, you're pathetic, you're Instagram stalking me, and you're chasing a man who's telling everyone he's not with you. And Tessa says, look, I'm no Galyna fan, but I have to side with her because you don't come after one of our own.
I'm coming into this one now. This was so awful. It made, honestly, I think it made Brooke look the best. At the end of it all, I felt like Brooke came out looking the most mature out of the three of them. Yeah, because
Brooke was just like, I'm done with this bullshit.
Listen, it's an age-old adage. You don't go after the person your partner cheated with. You go after your partner. If you
right.
She didn't agree to be in a relationship. I've never in my whole life, and I have been cheated on. I have never been mad at the person who screwed my girlfriend. I was mad at my girlfriend. I didn't make an agreement with that dude.
And Galyna kind of says that later. She's like, I know this isn't Brooke's fault. But like you're attacking her in the moment.
Blame her. It's and what she calls her, and she says, "You look old, and you're nothing. You're worthless." And then, but remember when she first finds out, she says something really interesting. She's like, "These fucking artistes, I don't."
Who said this?
Galyna. When Tessa first tells her, she mumbles something like in Russian, like I don't know. Like these bullshit artists. It was very,
okay.
Yeah, she went off, and I think.
Well, she called her his whore. Like a couple episodes
which she has. This is where it loses me because this has nothing to do with Brooke. She should actually, Tessa, and Brooke, they should have formed like a triumvirate,
like the First Wives Club.
Against Steve, because we know Tess is in love with Boss Man. I mean, come on, they hit it back in the day. Right. She even got kicked in the head for him. Brooke isn't going there to deck. I felt bad for Brooke. She had a couple friends that were coming to that apartment with her. She was gonna hang out, have a nice weekend, have some wine.
She's gonna get the keys. He's never going to let this stand. He'll go over and give her the keys. Because he's got to be he's got to show up and be the big man. With the keys. Here we go.
This was sad. Gross is a good word for it.
Yeah. And then Brooke, did you notice this? Like Galyna's calling Steve, he doesn't pick up. Brooke calls him, he picks right up. Hey, how you doing, honey? Like it's okay.
he's getting a few picks when he picks up for Brooke. Galyna's just gonna yell at him.
So then they're fighting over the phone because Galyna's like, well, I guess my ultimatum wasn't clear enough. And he's pretty much like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
Then they go upstairs and Tessa immediately starts doing damage control. Oh, the boss man he's just such a good man who's fallen from grace. And Galyna gets this look on her face and she raises her one eyebrow and she's like, and like her one eye gets real big. And I'm just like, I wouldn't fuck with her.
Yeah.
She's going to kill somebody.
The smile when she is very creepy. Yeah.
So we get a confessional from Brooke. Brooke's looking a little rough. Brooke's hair is like, I don't know what's happening.
She just got assaulted by Tessa and Galyna. The fly was I'm so glad you mentioned
She did the Obama. She just, remember when Obama did that during an interview? He just went, bink, and plucked it around. Like she just goes,
Mr. Miyagi.
There's a fly. Yeah. So Calah and Steven Jr. go to dinner. His mom calls. And she's like, Jesse asked me for the ring. Jesse asked me for the ring. They have this terrible conversation about marriage in which Steven Jr.'s like, but is it going to break up my posse? If, women and babies are going to ruin everything. And Calah's like,
retrograde.
Yeah, Calah's like, I'm a fucking grown up. I don't think of things like this.
It was weird. Like we've talked about this on previous episodes. Go back and listen, folks. I don't understand this dynamic. I did not grow up in a dynamic where women were adversaries and getting married. Like they were trying to steal my masculinity by marrying me. Or I do not understand this.
No.
It is weird, but it's a culture that exists, and that's why I love reality TV.
Yeah, we're learning all about this culture that exists.
Don't get it. Didn't live with it. None of my friends are like this. Nobody. No. This is strange times.
Yeah,
but it's there.
So Jesse and Allie, now we see them go on a horse ride, and he proposes. Now I want to talk about this proposal for a minute because, I mean, look, my proposal was I handed Timmy my ultrasound picture, and he was like, "What is this?" I said, "We're having twins," and he was like, "I guess we should get married." I was like, "Yeah, we should." That was, I'm not somebody who makes a big deal out of that stuff.
Do you want to hear what mine was?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll tell you mine. It was kind of cute.
Okay.
I took my mother-in-law. I had to go to my mother-in-law and get the diamond from their grandmother's ring. Like it was a family thing that I knew was going to be passed down.
So can I interject one follow-up question to that? Did you, like Rip, have to dig up your grandmother and get the ring off her finger?
No, I didn't.
Sorry.
No corpses were involved in this marriage proposal. Right. But what I did is I took that diamond and then I put it in because I always joked with my wife that if I ever proposed to her, I was going to get one of those rings from the 25-cent thing.
Yes.
Turn the lever. Yeah. So I went and found one of those containers.
Okay.
And put the diamond in that container. Then I put it in a sock. Okay. I put it in our little dog that we had just got like a little while ago. You know, it's a big sign of the relationship. You get a dog, right?
Yeah.
I put it in the dog's mouth and I said, "Go run to mommy." And the dog ran up to her with it in her mouth. And she goes, "What's this?" And she takes it. And then when she turned around, I was on my knee and I said, "William." So I kind of
That's very cute. Now, how old were you at this point?
I was 14 years old in McBee. No, I'm just kidding. I'm from Missouri. No, I was 30. How old am I now? I was 35.
Okay, all right. I feel like that's a very nice proposal. Very cute. Yeah. Very nice.
And we were just alone at the apartment. Just, you know, because she doesn't like the attention. She would not have liked me doing that in public.
No, I feel though, like, so did your wife berate you and beg you for several years prior for a marriage proposal?
No, we're adults. We spoke about it. We said, when would be a good time to get married? Like we talked about it. We had, well, I shouldn't say we don't. Some people, you didn't have the opportunity to do that.
No.
That happens in life.
Yeah.
But in our case, we had the opportunity to do it. So she knew it was coming. But
I just feel like this felt so, like, all of the surprise and excitement was like gone because she had just berated him into this.
Yeah, this is so long. Listen, I have a close family member, my sister, whose husband took like 8 years, and it was ridiculous. And let me tell you something. He fucked up, and I hope I don't know. He's not listening to this, but he fucked up, and he knew it. It was like ridiculous. You know, it's like when guys say, "I need to be financially secure before I need to do this before." No,
my husband's one of them.
But you do that together,
right? You can. My husband, like, there's something in his brain that's always like, we built our house, right? And he was like, "We need to pay off our first house before we could." Okay, well, we're gonna be 60 then when we're building our house. Like, you can't. There's certain things that you just have to kind of take a leap and do together. So I was like, let's just borrow a shit ton of money that we can't afford to pay back, build this house, and we'll figure it out.
Did you know Greg or something? Is that
even with the babies? Like, he was like, "I don't know if I'm ready." I'm like, "Well,
you got to do it.
We'll do it together. We'll figure it out." Like, we were not 21. We were 30. Like, we're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yep. Together is the operative
got married
word.
At 17.
Yeah, I know. My parents very young too.
Yeah. So and they figured it the fuck out. So,
but you got to do it together, which is what they have to learn, right? Like, this whole thing with Steven, I'm afraid of it. it's a very immature way of looking at relationships, and they have to break out of that. They have some women who are at least challenging them at this point, and Calah does seem to be working at a faster rate than the other two who have been waiting around for 10 years.
Calah is she's the agent of chaos here. Like, she's the outsider coming in, demanding quite a nice salary for her work. And, just kind of shaking things up and trying to get him. And it's working because Steven Jr. has the best outlook of any of these guys.
Oh, well, he is a fucking smart dude.
Yeah, he's really
I don't know how emotionally aware he is, but as far as the brain power, it's working at a good capacity.
I agree. So at the office, Galyna gets another call from Greg that now they're not even doing the 20 million. Because they had a look at some of this these car washes. And here's my question. He is so manic in how he is divesting, right? Is that the word? Divesting? Like when you divest, you just get rid of all your money and
yes, yeah.
Like, he's just so manic doing this. Like, we're going to do meat processing. We're going to do car washes. We're going to do bullhorns. We're going to do this. It's like, ugh, I can't even understand what's happening.
Yeah.
They just want to put the fucking McBee sign and name all over everything.
But that's how you keep the money going, because you put one thing into the other thing into the other thing, and then it's like, it's like
you build the car washes, you borrow against them to build the meat processing, you borrow against that to build
it's how America was
there
born.
Has to be an end.
Yeah, well.
All right, so Steven, so she goes outside and she's telling him the deal's dead and she's not mic'd, and production's like, oh my God, she turned off her mic. And they're like, he won't let us mic him either. So
damn, it's off. The mic's off. They're peeking through the window.
He's very upset. He's very pissed off. And he says, we're having our corn star party tomorrow and I'm upset I don't have good news for everybody. Then he starts subtly blaming Galyna. And he's saying, you can't. Well, maybe it's not subtle, but he's like,
subtle.
You can't take your foot off. Yeah.
No,
you gotta stay on these people. You can't procrastinate. Was she procrastinating and we didn't see this?
No, nothing. He doesn't even know. First of all, he's been telling us the whole time that he doesn't even know what the fuck's going on because he put it all in. So who's taking the responsibility here, Mr. Man? And you see the difference between the way when she later tells Steve Jr. the news, the way he doesn't blame her. He says, we're going to work through this. We're going to figure this out.
What is JFK's famous quote? Victory has 1,000 fathers. Defeat is an orphan. There you go. That's it. Everybody wants to be part of it when it's happening and when it wins. But now it's all like, oh, Galyna did it. Everybody. But you're right. Steven Jr.'s like, we'll figure this out. We'll go for. He's so good. I really like him. So now we get to. Are you ready? We're going to get to the corn star party.
Oh, this is so the trophy in itself was
chef's kiss.
Oh, beautiful.
God. And when Steven Jr. was spray painting the trophy and that guy came in.
So sweet.
And that guy thought he was going to get the award this year. And I'm like, oh my God, he didn't get it again. It was like Susan Lucci in the Emmys. No, she didn't get it again.
This is what the whole show really was about. We didn't know that they actually shot. Originally, this was about who wins this trophy. But then they got all this other relationship stuff and they made another show about it.
True. So, first of all, we have this. I want to address the clothing. Okay, let's address the clothing first. We're not political here and we don't talk about certain candidates. However, Casey has on a hat that says, Make America Cowboy Again.
Yeah.
And it's red. That. And I was triggered. I was just like, oh, let's not do this, please. Cool.
So I admit, I was a little bit like, I was like, once I saw that, I was looking at everybody else's hat.
Me too. And Cole, he just said, fuck it. And he's just wrapped himself in the American flag.
It's so weird.
And he has a holster on, and I couldn't tell if he had a gun.
Oh,
like, is that a gun? Or is he putting his cell phone in a holster? Because he's also that kind of person.
Yeah, that's true.
Put in a holster. True. So now we get this weird exchange. I don't know if you saw this with Steven Sr. and Calah. She comes in.
Yeah, almost breaking her thumb.
He's like flirting with her, right? He's totally flirting with her.
Yeah. Well, because just before she came over, he's flirting with some 16-year-old girls at the beer table, telling them to take shots with him.
He wants to bang Calah so bad he can't even see straight. And that's why he doesn't want Steven, because again, he's a narcissist who's in competition with his sons.
She knows it, and Calah knows it. And I'm sure she's said that to Steve Jr. as well. Then
he says to her, he hurts her thumb and says, "Don't be a pussy," and walks away.
All right, there you go.
So he's doing fireballs and shots. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Are you 22? Jesus. So Galyna says she feels like she failed and she lost the deal, and now she just feels like Brooke. Like, wow. She's like, I'm just another Brooke, a loser.
Another Brooke. Yeah.
Okay. Galyna, so Steven Sr. makes a drunk speech, and I have it verbatim here. Okay.
Oh, please.
All I could say is these guys have worked their fucking asses off, and I'm going to tell you something right now. If you don't love agriculture, if you're not into AG, I tell everyone I interview, then don't fucking do it, because it's a man's job, and if you don't fucking like the work, then don't fucking do it, because it takes long hours and hard fucking work, and if you don't have work ethic, get the fuck away from me. Wow.
Cut to the 4-year-old kid with his mom and his dad. That was
this is like, okay. I am going to mention a candidate here, but not politically exactly. But this is like when Trump gave the speech to the Boy Scouts, and he was talking about throwing Hillary in jail, and everybody's like, "What?"
It was ridiculous. This was
ridiculous
because this whole thing is like his Nashville, his bar guy personality is finally coming out at work. And people are seeing the real person.
Yep.
The facade has fallen.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they're showing different people in the crowd that are like their business associates.
Yeah, and you can hear too the level. Like, people were talking, and then even when Steve Jr. was trying to talk, people were having fun. As soon as Senior gets up there, it's like dead silence. That's felt very real to me. And it's kind of brilliant that this character came around to have this huge breakdown on this show.
And the best part is he's doing this and he's kind of slurring, and he's got like shit spilled all over the front of his shirt.
That started early. I noticed that right down the middle.
So Steven Jr. is like grabbing the mic off him and trying to get control of this situation. Jesse says, "I'm speechless." And they're all saying, like, we've never seen our dad this way. I'm like, really? Because we have. Go back to episode 9. It's
just at a bar, right? Yes. It's like they're so good at compartmentalizing their lives.
Yes.
That it's like, wait, if anybody then showed them footage of the 4 or 5 bar nights we've seen, it's the same exact guy.
Same exact guy.
They can't believe he's shown that here.
Right. He revealed himself.
Yeah.
So the next day, like I said, they're cleaning up. They're all stunned that dad acted this way. And Calah's leaving, and she tells Steven, like, either we're doing this together or we're doing it with someone else. Like, now she's starting to lay on the ultimatum. He says he loves her and he wants to make things work, but the farm needs me. He's like, have you seen my dad? Did you see that nightmare? I got to clean this up.
I got to go spray paint some more statues, some more corn.
He's like, this is going real bad and we might lose the farm. Like, I got to deal with this shit. So now we see Senior packing up, and there's like music playing, and he's packing his suitcase, and he's probably 100% going to Nashville to hook up with Brooke.
That's exact. Of course he is.
Because if you remember, where were they? No, if you remember, a couple days ago, he was on the phone, Kylie, saying, I have my tickets. I'm coming. Yeah. That's where he's going.
Of course it is. He's going for camouflage pants. He can't wait to take those pants off.
So Junior now meets up with Jesse and Cole, and they're like, I don't know, try and fix a fence and being idiots. And he tells them, look, Dad's gone, and I'm in charge now.
I'm in charge, yeah.
I'm the captain now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
He said, I know we've had our debates about who's in charge, and you may get your chance in the future, But for now, I'm in charge.
Look, you could have your chance in season 3 and 4, but season 2 is going to be me.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Well, they set it up.
This. They're scripting this whole thing.
Yeah. They set, because we see in the first episode we talked about with the Cole talk with the dad kind of pushing it. They were trying to build to that crescendo.
Yes,
I think they went more with the emotional stuff and the breakdown there.
Yes,
and then this part, which they probably had planned from the beginning, kind of fell down a little bit. So it actually would have been a better high to end on that crazy speech. And Dad's lost it. What the fuck happened?
Yes.
But they added this little part, which will, they'll just probably pick up in season 2. And I wonder if Dad'll be there, or they'll just wait. Like he'll just show up. Dad's back.
I can't wait for season 2. Like it can't happen soon enough. It's got to come out. So it'll probably be, let's see, this came out March? So it's going to be probably December, maybe January. Like, I don't think it'll be a full year, but it might be close to a year.
No. I mean, how much do you really need to shoot? These motherfuckers will be crazy. You could just shoot them sitting around their house and get 3 episodes out of it. They're just bound to be messing up and having fun and having Steve Jr. save them.
And I'm here for all of it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. All right, my friend, thank you so much for jumping in and finishing the show with me. I had so much fun talking about it with you.
It has been my absolute pleasure. This has been so much fun. I hope we get a chance to do this again. You're going to come on and talk House of the Dragon with us?
I am. So let's talk about that. So we're doing House of the Dragon on my feed, which I'm telling everyone right now will be not a factual based podcast. It will be like, oh, this guy and that dude and the one with the silver hair, and we're just giving it a light look. But if they want like facts, I'm telling them to go to DVR Podcast, to your daily DVR.
We appreciate it. We do try our best. And my co-host Gina is a book reader and has lots of knowledge. I have a fair amount of knowledge of Westeros and the history of Westeros, which is a great podcast people should listen to. Yeah. But I love it. We're having a lot of fun with it. We've been covering since season 2 or 3 of Game of Thrones back in the day, podcast Winterfell. We had Small Council. So you could check that out at dvrpodcast.com. And we're also doing Mayor of Kingstown. But yeah, we got to switch and talk about it. And we'll have you on, what we say, episode 3, we're going to have you on.
Look I have my little note. I wrote it down.
There
episode
you go. 3. Nice. We're going to have fun. This show is so, oh God.
Oh, I love it.
It's tough though. It is
really hard. It is.
It rips your heart out, but it's so beautiful. And as far as production goes, it's top notch. You don't get any higher than that.
That's why it takes a year to get one of those out. McBee, forget it. We'll have it in 3 months. It'll be here in September.
We're going to Nashville. We're going to Missouri, Kansas City. We're done.
They're like, this guy's on a bender. Just roll the cameras. Keep them rolling.
Instagram Live.
All right, my friend. Thank you, everybody. And please check out Axel's podcast. I do have it linked in the show notes. So please check him out and see what they're doing over there. And if you want to support the show, you can sign up for our Patreon, Supercast, or Apple subscriptions, and we appreciate it. Thank you again, Axel, and we'll see you guys soon.